and Toga, SRS runway, auto thrust is blue. 80 knots, thrust set. 2500. 31. Rotate.
What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another live stream coming from a blistery North Texas. It's about, we just had this discussion in the Discord. I think it's like 32, 33 C, and it's approaching 35 degrees Celsius or 95 degrees Fahrenheit in my office right now. So the office is undergoing some remodeling and some maintenance, and the air conditioning seems to be not doing its job. So we're going to see if we can get through this stream together. I didn't want to postpone it because I am so excited about what I got in store for you guys today. The TCA Boeing yoke has arrived for myself. I have been on the fence about getting this yoke for quite some time. You guys know I had the Honeycomb Alpha, and when I first got the Alpha, I was actually raving about it, how good it was, how nice it was. And to be honest with you, the quality, the build quality seemed and felt very good. Obviously, over the course of about a 2-year span, that went down the toilet. Developed a lot of different issues with my Alpha, and I got to the point now where I'm like, you know what? Let me try this TCA yoke out with the pendular motion. And as soon as I took it out of the box, I said, okay, yes, we have to stream today. So we're going to do that. We have a yoke cam ready to go. We're in a lovely WestJet 737-700, ready to take off and head down to Jackson Hole, which I don't know why I can't get the snow textures off the ground, but it seems like I can't get the snow textures off the ground in Jackson Hole, but it is what it is. I don't think it's had any snow there recently. But it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Tony, 2 times what's going on, man? He said I'm going to love this yoke. Yeah, I'm already loving it, man. Already loving it. Blue Bear, good to see you. Wojtek, what's up, man? Yes, WestJet just for you and Mr. Dimitri, the resident Canadians. I was actually going to go to Toronto. Is that Toronto, CYVR? But it was just 2 legs today with my room being as hot as it is. It just was not going to happen. So we're going to go 1 leg, Jackson Hole. I know it's not necessarily a real world route, but I think we're going to get by just fine. Richland Music, good to see you. Aaron Hastings, what's up? What's a Boeing? New type of Airbus? Exactly, Aaron. Exactly. The Boeing is a new type of Airbus. Although I'm hearing murmurs about that Phoenix 320. I don't know. I don't know what's true. They're waiting for an update. They're not waiting for an update. We shall see. I know nothing. You guys typically know more than I do when it comes to aircraft releases and stuff within the community, because outside of streaming, I'm pretty busy. You know, I got 2 young kids and a wife and a house and a day job and all that good stuff. So, Christian, good to see you as well. Al W, what's up, man? Thank you. Said nice circle last night. Guys, if you haven't seen the stream last night, make sure you at least check out the stream I did yesterday in the Goal 737 into Rio. Just fast forward to the landing, watch the replay of the landing. The most beautiful and scenic approach I have ever flown in my life in any sim ever. It was awesome. It was the most incredible approach I've ever flown. The whole experience was great, and I'm glad I got to share it with you guys. So make sure you check that out. But enough of that. Without further ado, 128 watching already. Appreciate it. Smash that like button so we can get this thing started here. Music is coming off, and we are going live in 3, 2, 1. Fade it out. Boom. Let's go to work, shall we? So, jumping into the cockpit. Oh, here we are, cold and dark. Had my McDo or my FMC set up. But just so you guys know I'm not lying here, I'll move over here to the Yoke cam. So this is what we're going to be rocking today. I'm going to talk all about it. We got one leg today with a little bit of a longer en route portion. Should be about an hour, 45 minutes flying time. If I'm not completely melted by the time we get to Jackson Hole, we might do some traffic pattern work just to see, so I can show you guys some of the stuff. I got a lot of opinions on this Yoke. Most of them are really good, and I think it's very, very nice. So here we go. Team Vodka, what's up? Couldn't get everything done in time to fly. Unacceptable, Team Vodka, unacceptable. Maybe by the time I'm done streaming, you can join us in Jackson Hole for some traffic pattern work. But, all right, here we go. Let's jump up to the overhead. Battery is on. Beautiful. Emergency exit lights are armed. Ground power is on. We'll connect that. Lovely. We're going to go back to the top here. We're going to go align nav 1 and 2. I'll put this in the status page just so I know what's going on up there. Cool deal. That's aligning. You can do all the tests. They all work. I saw Flight Deck to Sim doing them. But all the airspeed tests, all that good stuff. Excellent. All right. Anyway, we're going to keep coming down the overhead panel. Everything looks good here on this side. We're going to put this, that is on ground power. It is. We'll turn the galley on. It is on. We'll turn the galley power on. Everything else stays off. That looks good. We'll get the logo lights on. Position lights are on. While I'm up here, I'll just dial in the cruise altitude. I think we're going at 39,000 feet out of the gate. So 390 is set. I need to adjust the landing altitude. We'll double check that in a little bit later. Everything else looks good up here on the overhead. So, heading down to in front of the airplane here. Get our DUs turned up, brighten them up a little bit more. I just like to go right to max initially. And down to the FMC. Pausing it. Can I do a JipWhiz test? Do we have to be aligned for that?
Look up.
I think you have to be aligned for that. Because you have to know, it has to know the position for the enhanced JipWhiz, I think. I might be full of it, but at least in the Airbus, it wants to know where you are. Oh, there we go. See? There you go. You have to be aligned. Yep, definitely is functional. So this is one thing I do know about JipWhiz. So JipWhiz, or Ground Proximity Warning System, was the base warning system that was installed in the aircraft. Further on, they developed something called eJipWhiz, or Enhanced JipWhiz, or Enhanced Ground Proximity Warning System. And what the enhanced portion of that means, at least in the Airbus, and I only imagine it's very similar, if not identical to the Boeing, is that the enhanced part, it actually takes your geographical position and it has a bunch of airports in the database. So it knows, like for instance, when you're descending into Jackson Hole, that, hey, you're not descending into a mountain, because the airport is in the database and it built the terrain around that airport. So the enhanced part of JipWhiz has to know your position. Thus, if you're not aligned and the aircraft doesn't know where you are, you can't test the E or enhanced part of the JipWiz system. Now in the Airbus, you'll actually see the fault light on the overhead on the E part of the JipWiz panel, just a little bit more easier to read, a little bit more intuitive because it's an Airbus and this is a Boeing that we're in. But essentially, I imagine the systems are very, very similar. So cool to see that. Anyway, we are initialized here. Let's go C, Y, V, C. Jeez. I'm having a hard time with Canada airports too. CYYC to KJack. Juliet Alpha Charlie. And as far as weather goes, let's see. You can hold the JipWiz test button for 5 seconds for the full test. Beautiful. See, I'm not going to do that, but there you go. If you want to do the full-blown JipWiz test, you can indeed do it. All right. Calgary METAR 160 at 5. 40 miles viz. Yeah. Virga distant. Ooh, varying intensity rain aloft or something like that. I used to know exactly what that. Rain grapples aloft. Is that what that means? I think so. Something like that. Basically, rain showers in the distance that aren't touching the ground. Typically, they're indicative of some pretty rough air if you do fly through Virga. Just another fun fact for real-world information there. Temperature 1.2. I wish it was 1.2 right now. 30.01. So with the temperatures at 160, or I'm sorry, with the winds at 160, I'll probably have to resync this here because we had an update. Or yeah, let's do a quick get this reloaded here real quick. Have I figured out where to inhibit the JipWiz warnings? I didn't even look, but I would imagine they're over here. Here you go, terrain inhibit right here. So it's in norm. You would have probably used this. Now, why do we have inhibit functions? Well, let's say you're going into an airport that is not in the eJipWiz or the enhanced portion of your database, then you would indeed inhibit the terrain warning because you don't want to be on final with the airplane calling out terrain. So that is why you even have this terrain inhibit here. That is part of the E or enhanced portion of the JipWiz panel. Virga is a kind of rain that condenses before it touches the ground. Exactly. Virga, a Latin word, I'm not sure, but I know it actually stands for something. It's varying intensity rain gradients aloft. That is what it stands for as far as aviation is concerned. Do with that as you will. But here we go, CYYC. I don't know the airport layout at all here. The Paro switch, exactly, Digital Merc. I like that. I would have a lot more fun flipping switches in a full cockpit setup than I do with the mouse. Hey, Tony Johns, beggars can't be choosers, right? Beggars can't be choosers. I will tell you, though, there is something nice about being able to just sit down in your home, wherever you are. I wish I was at home, but in your own home office or whatever it is, and fly an airplane, not have to worry about the consequences and or repercussions of other things. So it is what it is, my friend. Here we go. We're going to depart off 17 left. Perfect. We're out over here somewhere, so that'll make it a nice, easy taxi out. I am using the Payware Jacksonville. Jackson Hole. I am using the Payware Jackson Hole. Indeed. All right, so 17 the left is our departure. And it doesn't even have, according to my flight plan here, we didn't even file anything. It says Ubval. So let me take a look here at the departures. We don't have any ATC, so it doesn't really matter. What's the Calgary 7? Is that just a radar vector? Perfect. We're going to do that. Route, activate, execute, next page. Vectors to Ubval. Uniform Bravo, Victor Alpha Lima. We'll throw that in here. Execute. And from Ubval, it's kind of a weird flight plan. We don't have any airways. Vobuk, V-O-B-U-K. Execute. And Tovum, T-O-V-U-M. Throw that in there. Execute. And after Tovum, it's Swede. Sierra, Whiskey, Echo, Delta, Delta. Execute. Next page. Zibiv, or Z-I-B-I-V. Execute. Still no news, Blue Bear. No news on the Starlink just yet, man, unfortunately. Zosov. Z-O-S-U-V. And Dimitri, if you do pick this up later, I did get your information about SimBrief. I just didn't have time to get it up before the stream, but I will be looking into that SimBrief integration that you sent me. Thank you, sir. Womru, W-M-R-U. We'll throw that in there. Execute, and then from there, basically to the airport. So, I don't know exactly what we're going to be doing in Jackson Hole, but let's pull it up here. We're coming in from the north. There are no stars, but the approach is I kind of want to do another RNAV. We're coming in from the north, though, so I don't think that there's any really good approaches from the north. We might just do an ILS, a Zulu, a Yankee. Where's this one come from? I'm just literally trying to... Probably the Yankee is what we're going to have to do. RNAV Zulu, RNP Yankee. They all seem to want to come from the northeast side. Oh, this is, yeah, from the south side, the RNP X-rays are pretty hardcore. Let's load up the ILS Zulu for runway 19er. Let's do that. So let's go departure, arrival, ILS Zulu, 19er, and we're going to do it off of Zabiv, which is in our flight plan. We're probably going to have a double entry, which is a Boeing thing here. So, oh no, Zabiv. So if I take this one and put it right here, Zabiv, Zosiv, execute. That's very, Zabib, Zosiv, Warmru, Usug. Very Embraer style of doing things. Very Embraer style. Current jack winds are 210 at 10. Ooh, we're gonna might have to change that. Thank you, Tony Johns. We'll tackle that when we get there. But thank you. We'll keep an eye on that for our approach. We might have to change that around. All right. Good afternoon, Chris Duper. Welcome, man. All right. Let's have some fun with this. So we're going to come over here. We're in a completely empty airplane, which I've saved my state to that. But basically, we're going to do return to menu, FS actions, ground services. Next page, potable water. Let's get potable water. We need that. We don't need maintenance. We do need fuel. And according to SimBrief, because we do have an alternate as well, we might have to take a little bit more gas than you may think. Let me double check my SimBrief. Fuel required at gate fuel, 13 thou, 13.1. Let's call it 13.5. But he won't. So I wanna try this real quick. I'm gonna go fuel, and I'm gonna set this to like 2,500 pounds, not 25,000.
Subscriber.
Okay.
Look.
So now I'm gonna return. I'm gonna go to ground services, and I want to actually see how the real-time fueling is. Let's request the fuel truck. We got 13.5, and he should be arriving at the aircraft here momentarily. I think that's him. Let's see him drive up. I'm a bit late. Was at work. Share any thoughts on the Yoke yet? Tom, I have not shared a lot of thoughts yet, other than this is potentially very game-changing. I'm going to get to it here, indeed, in a little bit. Let me reset my views. Now that we're in daytime, I kind of had nighttime views set. There we go. Oh, that's a good view right there. A little bit of window frame, but not too much. So that's going to save that view. I had these views outside of the windows for our night flight. Save that one, boom. And then this one is back there, beautiful. We'll keep that one, we'll keep this side fresh. All right, looks like he is at the aircraft. Can you just set your fuel in the main service? Probably, but I wanted to see he's attaching. So I want to see if it will just straight up do real-time fueling. Very cool to see him actually hook up there, fueling panels outside, and start the fueling. Excellent. Next page, passengers. We're taking 120 passengers down to Jackson Hole. And do we have a jetway attached? We do, but the boarding door is closed, so we're going to open that. And we're going to start boarding. All right. Forward galley. Don't need to do that. Here we go. Let's take 2750 and 2200 in the aft. And we're going to request the loader and carts for both. And then we're going to end up having to board or real-time load. Yes, you can instantly apply all weights, which I've been doing, but I kind of wanted to see some real-time loading on this one here. So we're gonna let it do its thing. Jeremy says, oh, excuse me, I got a hair. Oh, what the heck? Like, that's, when you have two little girls at home, hair just gets everywhere. Apparently there's hair on my Yeti. All right. Jeremy says, how do you feel about having sim options in the FMC instead of a tablet? I like it in the tablet so settings don't feel like they're part of the plane. You know, I'm indifferent on this one, Jeremy. I really am. I know everybody loves their tablets. That's kind of like the standard. When will I be able to start? So it says arrival hold. I think because the fuel truck is there. Maybe they can't do the forward cargo, because it would be weird that they load aft cargo first. Typically, if you're loading cargo, you always load the front first, so you don't do a tail stand. But yeah, you know what? I don't dislike it, Jeremy. I could go either way, honestly. I really could go either way. It doesn't affect me either or. I know everybody likes to have tablet options. Call me old school. I kind of like the look of the cockpit without a tablet. So he's on arrival hold for fuel. I guess we'll start boarding the aft. Hopefully we don't do a tail stand. That's cool. All right, we don't have any ATC. We're going to set our top altitude to flight level 390. Normally you would load 1,500 pounds in the front. Uh-oh. Do I have an issue with that much up front? Hopefully we don't. Let's see how it is. All right, 390 top altitude. We don't know our speeds yet because of our weights. Runway heading, we do know we're going to be departing off runway 17, so we'll dial that around. Skitch, what's up, man? Says, I used to fuel 737s for a while. My arms got huge from having to hook up that 400-pound fuel nozzle vertically from a ladder. Skitch, man, I appreciate that. That's, being a fueler in the airline world may be one of the more thankless jobs out there, but hey, without the fuelers and the ground service agents, doesn't matter if you got pilots or flight crew or whatever, you're not going anywhere without ground crew. So thank you, man. Thanks, Skitch. Shout out to you. I do remember one night I was a witness of a fueler that was fueling an Airbus, and instead of having a ladder, he was using a belt loader. He then slipped off the belt loader, grabbed the fuel coupling to prevent him from falling, but actually ripped the fuel coupling straight out of the wing of the aircraft. The aircraft dropped or drained, I think, about 2,500 pounds of gas on the tarmac. I mean, it was a lot. Like, it was a major fire hazard. They had the fire trucks, everything, had to evacuate. Basically, it acted like a plug. So the plug was gone from here, and whatever fuel was upwards of the single point refueling, it drained out onto the tarmac. I got some pretty cool pictures of it. I think I posted it in the Discord a long time ago, but yeah, no good. Don't be doing that. Brian K., welcome back to Private Pilot, sir. Thank you very much. Having played both X-Plane and Microsoft, besides the visuals, how does PMDG compare to Zibo or Level Up? Level Up needs some work. They came out in December. Haven't really been an update. I never did a Level Up stream. I kind of got in it, messed around. I said, well, I'll have Zibo if I need it. And I'm being completely honest with you, man. I never flew the Zibo all that much in X-Plane. You guys saw what I fly, what I streamed. I kind of left the Zibo thing to Flight Deck to Sim because that's like he knew everything there was to know about Boeing. So I'd only dabble in the Zibo every now and then because we had so much variety. But now in Microsoft, we don't have that much variety of high fidelity airplanes yet. We're getting there. We've got some. They're coming out, and I'm really enjoying the PMDG in Microsoft. But I defer any and all. Like realism, how does it compare to the real thing to him and his channel for that? Because I am not qualified to speak on which feels more realistic since I do not drive Boeings in real life. But I will say this, I am getting a ton of fun out of this PMDG and Microsoft. A ton of fun. All right, here we go, 390, 170 on the heading. I'm just gonna hit B to set our altimeters. 3001 is set both sides. Let's kind of see what else is going on here. They're on arrival hold. They're done, so we can go ahead and release him. I actually want to see. We're still boarding. You can see this is still doing its thing. So I'm going to go back to ground service. At some point, he's done, so we can release the truck. 13.5, 1301 required. 13.501 on board, 13.5 is required. So that's good. We're still boarding passengers, and they're on arrival hold. So let's see if that changes. This is just for my... I'm curious. I bet you they can't bring the carts up here because the fuel truck is here. We're going to have to find out. We'll see what happens here. Thanks for the new subscribes. I appreciate it. Nick Diagupis and Eden K and Samuel Dye, a couple new subscribers. I appreciate you guys subscribing to the channel. Brings a lot of new viewers to the channel. PMDG drop, Microsoft Flight Sim. Obviously, I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content enough to subscribe and hit the like button. Very much appreciative of that. PMDG looks brand new airplane. There aren't many signs of wear in the cockpit. I want to see more scratches and wear. So Jeremy, about that, it is my understanding that if you're a developer and you're going to release an airplane in the marketplace, it must be a clean livery. You can't have dirt or wear and tear. That is what I was told. I don't know if that's 100% true, but maybe someone in the chat can clarify that. But I was told that if you're releasing an airplane in the Microsoft Store, it has to be a clean livery. You do have there's some smudges and some dirt here. Look at this. The forward loader is showing up because the fueler has left. That's the kind of realism I like to see. That's the kind of realism I like to see. All right, so basically we're just waiting on boarding and that loader. So until then, let's go ahead and get the APU on. I don't believe you need a fuel pump for the APU in the NG. Any avid Boeing drivers in chat, do you need a fuel pump for the APU in the NG? Richland, exactly. There's a lot of ways to end up dead in the 737 if you're not careful. Absolutely. Don't need it. It has its own fuel pump. Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Do I use math when flying? Other than basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, occasionally some division, no. One left pump just to reduce wear. Not strictly required, but best practice is to put a left pump on. Old habit from the classic. Left aft pump on. Well, okay then. Guess 1930 called and we still need fuel pumps to get our APU fired up, huh? Alright, Jackson Hole field elevation is 6451. We don't want to mess that up. We're going to put that in right now. So 390 and 6451. Good night. That is up there. So I guess I was always told to round up, so 64, we'll just round it up to 6,500 since it's 6451. Does that make a difference? I guess 1 foot is closer than 49 feet, but I don't know. I'm gonna round up. I'm sure I'll get ridiculed in chat for that. We'll do it. All right, let's close that. We don't need Jackson Hole right now. We don't need this. Let's come back to Toronto and pull this out. 10.9 page is there. We're going to keep that up just like that. Cool. That is set. You round to the nearest 50. So you round up to the nearest 50 or down to the nearest 50? Or does it matter? So then in that case it would be 6450. Alright, that is set. We are on VATSIM, but we don't have any ATCs, so we're going to just go ahead and do a basic 2000 squawk here. And that's on transponder mode, and we'll dial in Unicom 122.8 is set. 22.8, 2000 on the squawk. I think that looks good. All right. Here we go. Are we done? We are indeed done. Except our forward cargo. What's going on with our forward cargo? Oh, we never started. They're slacking. All right, so we're waiting for forward cargo to finish. As soon as forward cargo is finished, then we will be able to finish up the knit page. Hey, look at that. We got a Southwest 737 spawning in next to this WestJet here. The thing I can't figure out about the 737 is why don't they have the overhead follow a cockpit flow? Because, Tony Johns, the overhead cockpit has not been changed since the original design, so you can't teach old dogs new tricks, I guess. That's my guess. How do I get rid of the split SIMTARs? You can do that in the PMDG settings. However, I'm running the Ops Center liveries, and if you download official or verified liveries from the PMDG Ops Center, each tail number will reflect exactly what it has. So for instance, this tail number, Fox Whiskey Charlie November, is a 700 that does not have SIMTARs. So it is exactly how it should be in real life, which is kind of cool. I like that function. I really do. We're going to go ahead and leave everything else off. Basically, our initialization is left to do. We're waiting for our fuel and the rest of our loads. Transponder is off. Yeah, we're looking good. I wish we could actually see them actively loading. I'm going to turn the Apu Bleed on. I'm turning the Apu Bleed on to see if I can get air in the cockpit. Air conditioning. Because I'm hot in my office, so I'm like, hey, can we turn the air on here? We're going to transfer over to APU Gen. Turn the ground power off, which is off. They're not quite done yet, but let's go ahead and release the ground power. Let's go ahead and release the potable water. And we're just waiting on that. About another 1,000 pounds to go. Now you can hear some air in the cabin, which is nice. Did I hear that correctly? You can drive the pushback tug? Yes, you can. I have not messed with it, but yes, you can indeed. What do I use for model matching? AIG. Does anyone know if instrumentation and cockpit options change with liveries too, like the Zebum? Yes, Jeremy, they do. So not only is it the outside, whether it's the SIMTAR or SATCOM, literally, if it says verified in the PMDG Ops Center, and remember, it has to say verified, then that exact tail number will match exactly to that aircraft, whether it's equipment options, short field performance package, HUD heads-up display, or anything like that, it will match. But if it doesn't say verified, then I don't know what the default is. I think it's whatever you set it to, perhaps. And it does. And if you want to change it, whether it's a verified livery or not, you can still change it to match whatever configuration you want it to be. Digital Merc, you tried the PMDG pushback? I'm going to do a practice run with it here, and then we'll do it probably the next stream, maybe. We're on the road to 25K. I really want to hit 25K subs because I've already decided at 25K we're going to do a little mini tour, South America. I think we're going to start maybe in MROC, Costa Rica, take off from there and then just go south. We're going to go through Colombia, all the way through South America, Peru, Brazil, all that good stuff. And I think most of it will probably be in the PMDG 737 because I got to hand it to them. They really sucked me in on this one. It is a wonderful sim experience, as Flight Deck to Sim put it. Flying this airplane in this simulator platform, it delivers a really good experience for the end user, and I'm sucked into it. I'm loving it. What does verified mean? Jeremy, exactly. Verified means they've actually confirmed the tail number, the paint job, and the equipment options and already set them up for you as per the real world tail number. How did you set up custom views? I know you probably get asked 1,000 times. I do. It is from an XP72 wing view video. The easiest way I can do this is give you the link to this video. So let me get a link, and I'm gonna just put it in the chat so you can see it. Right now, let me look it up here while we're waiting. All right, it's a 14-minute video, but just watch the whole thing. Now, he's in the fly-by-wire 320 in the video I'm linking, but the same concept applies. That's the easiest way I can describe it. So check that link out and just dedicate yourself. Hey, I'm going to give myself 15 minutes. I'm going to watch this video through and through, and you will have it set up. And the good thing is you'll be able to set up every single airplane the way you want to set it up. Essentially, you're tricking the cockpit camera to get outside of the cockpit. That's in so many words. All right, we're done loading. We're going to release. We're going to release. We're going to pull chocks. We're going to go back here. We're going to go to the main payload page. This is our main payload. Everything looks good. So with that done, we're going to go 0 fuel weight, double tap that. Reserves of 3,000 pounds. Cost index, I'm freaking hot, so we're going to go 78 degrees in here. Cruise altitude is 390. That is set. Execute N1 limit. We don't do any flexing here on this takeoff. We're going full Toga. We will do a flaps 5 departure. CG for takeoff is 24.2%. That is set.
Traffic,
These speeds.
347, taking off runway 17 right.
WestJet taking off 17 right. Oh, this is Calgary, right? So it's like 400 miles to the other side of the airport. I can't see him, but he's probably over there. All right, jet bridge is pulled back. That is all set. 5.12 on the trim. Close enough. 5.12, that's good. Let's pre-plan a pushback and get out of here. We're going to get on the way. Let's do it. Now, I want to actually turn on the audio. I want to see if they... I don't want nose wheel lift. Hopefully we don't screw this up on pushback now.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
All right, that's coming on. Fuel pumps are coming on. Seatbelt signs is on. Window heat's coming on. We'll get that after departure. We still have a forward entry door open. They haven't changed it? Yeah. I was hoping they would have changed it by now. We'll go ahead and close forward entry door. I'm going to keep that on the payload page. Lights out up there. Packs are off. Apu Bleed is coming off for right now. I'll reset that. Anti-collision is on.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
We are cleared for start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start.
The world's longest...
Parking brakes are released.
world's longest
Commencing
pushback starts
you can start
now.
The engines in sequence.
Exactly.
It will start in the sequence.
Ah, Southwest, I'm sorry, man. I'm pushing with you. Oh, this isn't good. Sorry, Southwest. Sorry, dude. Calgary traffic, WestJet 357 are going to be taxiing to 17 left here. Pushing off, I don't know what gate this is. Sorry, Southwest. That looks like a Max. Didn't mean to block you there, man. Sorry about that.
No worries, we'll give you some room.
I'm afraid if I stop the pushback, I'll do a tail stand again.
Don't want to do that.
So, on the very first stream, we did a freaking tail stand on the pushback, so I didn't want to mess with it. Southwest stopped real fast, exactly. All right, we are ready to go. Apu Bleed is on. Give me that pressure. And in the words of Captain Mike, turn 2. I cut off Big Earn. Christian, that's hilarious. I love Big Earn, man. I'd never even would have found his channel had you not have ever introduced me. But I tell you what, man, I started watching him. Started watching him now. I hope I see him on the line one day. Maybe I'll like be jump seating or something. Which type of 320? I fly all 3 of them, man, plus the Neo, so it's really, I mean, it's all the same type rating, but it's a narrow body.
Pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
I'm flying it. Brakes are set. Disconnect.
Parking brake set. Ground. You may disconnect.
Okay, sir. Clear to disconnect. Pin has been removed. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
I feel like
Holding position, waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
it's just that last comment. Holding position and waiting for the visual. Like, no kidding, you're not going to drive off. I don't know, that's just the American in me is like, come on, man. If I tried to be that professional to the ground crew in the U.S., they'd be like, what? Like, here's your wave off, man. Get out of here. All right, wait for, I guess we're not getting a wave off. Cool. Also, not uncommon. Firing 2.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Oh yeah, I gotta get the hydraulic pumps. My bad. After start, close isolation valve and get pack 2 going for the passengers. Then start 1. Nah, wingnut. Passengers don't. It's 12 degrees C. But you know what's interesting? As I'm reading your comment there, wingnut. Thanks for that, though. That's very similar in the Neo and the Airbus. We have a similar procedure where you can actually get Air 2, the passengers, in the back because they take so long to start up. All right, so that's good. Let's go ahead and finish our flow. Boom, boom. Apu Bleed is off. Left pack, right pack. Isolation valve is in auto. Probe heat is coming on. Everything else looks good there on the top. Let's go generator 1. Generator 2. APU off. And we're going to go yoke cam. Flaps 5. Beautiful. Taxi light on. Where are we at? Calgary traffic. WestJet 357 going to taxi runway 17 left via Bravo and Delta. 17 left, Bravo, Delta. I think that's where we're going. Let's go. Brakes off. RTO is set. Takeoff config is good. Oh yeah, we got to set our MCP speed.
Calgary traffic, number 52, Texas behind the WestJet 317 left.
Very good breakaway thrust there. Best wing view I've seen in a simulator as well, as far as I think the Rotate MD-80 used to be the king of wing textures. I now think the king of wing textures across all sim platforms is now the PMDG 737-700. This is the most realistic, most nicely textured wing I've seen. All right, yeah, we never set all this stuff up here. We're gonna go Flight Director 1, Flight Director 2. V2 speed is 132. Let's dial that in on the taxi out here. 132 is set. We'll stand by to arm the auto throttles, and we do have the master light on, which is good. That means we are master flight director. Having that tiller, so nice. Using my Cat 3 design tiller. don't believe they're actually taking orders anymore. They're sold out of everything. They had Boeing tillers. They have Airbus. I have the Airbus tiller. Fantastic gentleman to work with. With the TCA, I only have one camera set up here. Once the Phoenix releases, you'll get to see the full V1 Captain cam setup. We got tiller and stick cam, and then we have a throttle cam as well. XP72, what's up, man? Thanks for the continued support. He says, V1 secretly in training to move to the 737 in real life. Hey, XP, I told you that in confidence, man. Now you spilled the beans. Now everyone knows I'm actually transferring this to the 737. What's up, XP? Good to see you. XP, if you want, can you get a link? I actually had one earlier. Oh, no, I think I still have it. I've been posting this in chat. I'm actually going to end up making a command for it. But the gentleman that was asking for the wing views, there's the XP tutorial again. Follow that tutorial and you'll be set up, good to go.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
Southwest is probably going to be pissed off. Oh yeah, look, he's right up my tailpipe. He's like, these Canadians can't taxi. He wants to be going 35 knots here. Oh, I was not able to fix the reverse. I didn't even mess with it yet, Super Dill. You know what? I'll have to mess with that in short of the runway because I want to have that fixed before we go into Jackson Hole. So I'm going to mess with that as soon as we get to the end of the runway. I'll let this guy take off in front of us. How do I like the Boeing? I'm absolutely loving it, guys. There you go, just first real shot of it. I like how the aileron roll gets progressively harder as you roll into it, kind of simulating that effect of control forces on the yoke. I'm going to give you my full lowdown review once we get airborne, top of climb. So I've got some key points I'd like to discuss about the yoke. And right at top of climb, we'll get into that. But my initial impressions, it is a game changer, I will say that. Gustavo, what's up, man? Can you imagine you losing your tray table and eat food in your lap again? Gustavo. That just sounds horrible, man. No, I can't. I cannot imagine having a yoke in the freaking lap, no tray table. Is there a coffee holder in this thing? Oh, I guess there's one down there. I remember in V1 or in Flight Deck to SimStream, he was saying that there's coffee stain like right here because that's where everybody puts their coffee cup. So yeah, too cheap to build proper coffee holders. See, this is where it's hard to taxi compared to real life because you don't know how fast you're going. Like, no way would I make that turn at 18 knots or this one at 15 knots. Because in real life, you feel the momentum, obviously, right? You feel the momentum of the airplane, and you try to make a 90-degree turn at 20 knots, 18 knots, it's not very comfortable. In fact, there is when you're over a certain gross weight, you have to make sure you are below 20 knots for any 90-degree turns. It's an actual limitation. I have not had any issues with my autopilot disengaging. I have discovered, though, that if you do have the Bravo throttle, and you bump your trim wheel, you will disengage the autopilot because the trim wheel works as it should. It actually works as a trim wheel, and if you bump your trim wheel, it will disengage the autopilot. Alex, I fully crossed to the dark side. Hey, man. Oh, this guy must be watching the stream because now he backed off.
Look up.
Hey, I'm not the one stuck in the virtual jet A. The TCA yoke, indeed. Ano Coffee or Uno Coffee, what's up, man? Thank you for the subscribe. Appreciate you. I will say one thing that I really enjoy about the PMDG 7.3 is that I feel like they've really captured that lowrider feeling. Because when I'm flying this in the sim here and I'm actually trying to land, I feel like I am I'm super low to the ground. I'm coming in fast. And the Airbus, you're much higher up. You sit higher up, at least you feel that way. I'm going to pull over here real quick. Hold on. And Southwest, you guys can go full length. We're gonna hold here. I gotta figure something out here in the settings.
Sounds good to me. Thanks.
All right, so we're gonna hold here full length, or short. We're gonna hold here short of full length. Oh, that's the wrong button. Oh, now I just started the APU. Son of a gun. No, off. All right, brakes set. Now let's see this reverse here real quick. I'm a captain, Liam.
Air traffic 752, departing 17.
Okay, so maybe they do work. I just can't bring them into reverse. I got it.
Subscriber ahead.
Okay.
Look up.
Let me turn that off. Let me reset the speed brakes. Let me go back to RTO. Let me go brakes off. Takeoff config is good. That's good. Hold the brakes. Brakes back on. We're ready to go. Calgary traffic. WestJet 357 will line up and wait after the departing Southwest off 17 left. APU means accidentally pressed the unit. That's too funny. There he goes. Let's see if we can watch him rotate from the wing view here. Don't harm the speed brake, Christian. Exactly. I guess you have to set the thrust to idle before engaging reverse, Gustavo. Yeah. So, well, the thing is, they toggle off on my flip switches, but not when I go down. I guess when I go down in the reverse detent, it pops them back out of reverse. So for this landing, we'll do it with I'll just toggle them. Man, he's a rocket ship. All right, we already made our radio call. Clear left. Let's go up here. We're gonna light it all up. Cont. This to me is so bizarre. This switch. It's like you got everything
Traffic
forward for
752,
on
clear 17
except that
left,
switch.
departing
It's like,
south,
oh, hey.
call. Check.
Back in 1930, we didn't believe in strobes, and now we have strobe lights, so let's just make this switch a 3-position switch, and it'll be the only one facing the wrong direction on your overhead panel. I guess the wheel well, too, but just Boeing doing Boeing things, huh? All right, auto throttle is armed. LNAV, VNAV is engaged. 132 on the MCP. Let's do it. Are the sounds better than the fly-by-wire?
Bank angle. Bank angle.
V1 fix those reverses where you Toga time with TCA Boeing let go.
Let's do it. Thank you, Super Deal, for the $1 dono. Bank angle check. Right back at you, sir. Right back at you, man. We're going to give him about another 30 seconds. I can see him up there, and then we're getting out of here. 455 watching, 100-something likes. Let's hit that like button, guys. Hit the like button if you want to see a full-blown Toga. Matter of fact, I'm going to hold you guys hostage here. I am not going to hit the Toga button until we hit 200 likes. Maybe that's a bad idea. I'm going to hit this at 200 likes. We're going full Toga, no flex. Does the airplane feel realistic? Absolutely. And the question that somebody said for the, what was it, the sounds? This is the best 737 sound set I've heard personally. The fly-by-wire is the best A320 sound set I've ever heard. There it is. 200 likes. You guys rock. Here we go. Spool them up 50. Enjoy the takeoff. I'm going to be quiet. Stable. Calgary traffic. WestJet 357 departing 17 left. Calgary. Toga. Oh, yeah. Oh, boy. Center line. Thrust set. 100 knots, check. Still doing light callouts. V1. Rotate. TCA Boeing Yoke. All feels so good. Nice and easy on the rotation. Positive rate.
Positive rate of climb.
You're up. Do not exceed 20 degrees pitch. Well, I just went to about 28.5, so rip. There's 20 degrees. Trim it down a little bit. See you later, old Canada. The clock, the clock. Oh my God, I swear. You guys and your clocks. Chrono is on. And this is just a vector departure essentially. So I'm gonna go legs page. Let's go direct to Vobuk. Execute. Should be a slight left turn. I'm trying to keep my hand out of the way so you can see the yoke going here. So as far as yoke settings, now I would defer, there's our flaps 1 speed. I would defer to Flight Deck to Sim if he has any difference of opinion as far as curvature. But what I've found on the TCA Boeing yoke to fly and feel as real as I would assume this to feel like is I've actually reduced the dead zone. I've reduced the dead zone in both the pitch and roll to only 2%. I think it was by default, it was at 5%. There's flap 0. I've reduced it to 2%, and I've put a 7% curve on both pitch and roll. So reduce the dead zone and put a 7% curve on pitch and roll. And to me, that feels like the most believable control input. Now, again, I'm not a 7.3 driver, so you know, if Flight Deck to Sim or whoever thinks it's different, then I would actually try their settings. But to me, that's what I'm rocking. And I played with a few different ones. I just felt that 5% dead zone was too much. It was too much. All right, there's 250 knots. See, I don't know my pitch and my pitch speed for, I think, you know, in the Airbus, I'll put it there. We'll see what happens. We don't have any ATC, so let's go ahead and go lights off. Boom, boom, boom. Those can come off. Those can come off. Logo lights off. Wing lights off. Cabin is pressurizing. And I guess let them know we're 310. Oh, it's +1C. We're about to enter visible moisture. We talked about this on the last stream. What is the generic danger zone for visible moisture and anti-ice? Douglas, what's up, man? Good to see you, bud. Gonna be a nice... My nav lights are off? Son of a... No, they're not. No, they're not. They're in position and strobe. +10, -10. There you go. RTO and landing gear. Son of a... This airplane. My word. We got it. Yeah, Ricardo. There you go. Ricardo getting a little bit in the advanced realm. Yeah, so generally speaking, and again, this is a real world thing, you know, +10, -10 is when you're going to be in potential icing conditions if you're in visible moisture. Now, when you're flying jets and compressibility and all those things and friction of air going over the surfaces become more apparent, then it actually goes all the way to -40. So +10 on the TAT, all the way to -40 C, because you're expected to go up into those high flight levels. Actually going to trim it down a little bit. It looks like it wants about 5 degrees. But yeah, once you get below -40 C, it is then assumed that it is too cold for any ice to accumulate on the aircraft, where then you can turn it off. But very good, very good. This is a learning channel at heart. If I can't teach you Boeing stuff, we could still learn other things. But look at these views. Look at this. This is just... I'm ready. I just want to sim for the rest of the month. I think I might just stop flying the whole month and just sim every day for the rest of the month here. So we're trimmed out at about 5 degrees. And we'll go ahead and set standard. And it is synced, so we're out of 18.3. I guess I should have had traffic up too. No terrain out here. But she's climbing out nicely. I'm going to just take the southwest approach to things and hand fly this sucker up to cruise altitude. Definitely on the juice, Mr. Ginar. Owner's manual, Mick Shiggity Pilot. What's going on, sir? I haven't seen you in a very long time. Glad to see you stopping by the stream, sir. Welcome aboard. I have not personally dug through any of the manuals. I wish I could get this quote out of you guys. McShiggity Pilot, I have not personally looked for any manuals on this airplane yet. I'm sure it comes with documentation, but just out as a personal experience, I've not yet dug through any of the manuals. Missed watching the live stream, Z1. Thank you. Hey, Douglas. Glad to have you back on board, man. Glad to have you back on board. Voitech, thank you so much for the $5 super chat in Canadian dollars. Thank you so much, sir. Or I guess it's just Canadian. Is it Canadian dollars? Canadian? In Canadians. Thank you for the 5 Canadians.
Subscribe.
Voitech, thank you so much, man, for your continued support. It is indeed a lot of work. But it's something about this experience as a whole, whether it is the ease of use of Microsoft Flight Simulator as far as not having to worry about ortho scenery and all and weather add-ons. It's just a combining of the experience that you get with this airplane in this platform is a lot of fun. It's addicting. How do I like the PMDG 7.3? I think that answers it, Mr. R. Rod. Gustavo says, now I don't know if the CWS allows you to fly with flight director on or if it kicks off, but the CWS is the old mode on the original Dash 200. Interesting. I remember watching some flight deck to sim videos about the old control wheel steering. That's like basically going into almost Airbus flying, right? Like you just kind of set it and forget it. But right now, if I don't have any of that engaged, it should just fly for what I'm pitched for, right? I mean, I'm literally, I know you can't see it, but maybe you can over here. I'm just flying with 2 fingers on the yoke. Now, the last yoke-driven airliner that I flew was not a Boeing. It was an Embraer. It was the E-Jet series, so the 170s, 190s. And the same thing, I flew, even though they had the reverse handlebars, like a little tricycle for little kids, instead of an actual yoke. Same thing. You don't want to over-control. You know, if you grab with 2 hands here, and this is a good tip for anybody that's new to flight simulation in general, and maybe you pick this Boeing yoke up, over-controlling is a real thing in the real world, and it 100% is a real thing in the sim world. And over-controlling, it's very easy to do. Just because you have 2 handles here, it makes, oh, I just want to drive this like a car. No, it's very easy to get into a over-controlling, or PIO as we call them in aviation, the pilot-induced oscillation. So take your hands off the yoke, pitch the airplane where you want it to be, set your trim, see if it stabilizes, and let go. Let the airplane tell you what it wants to do. You know, so right now I'm completely hands off. And I'm just, every now and then it starts to drift off from the flight director. I grab it with 2 fingers, 2 or 3 fingers here. Just make a small input, small correction, and let go. Thank you for the new subscriber, guys. Appreciate it. I know I can't get to all of your names, but thank you so much. The old SP-72 from the 732 is the same as the autoflight for the Airbus, but it is a direct relationship. Oh, so yeah, kind of like alternate law. Very interesting, Gustavo. Very interesting, sir. So I can see here I need a little bit more forward trim, or I need a little bit lower AOA. So I'm going to go ahead and pitch the airplane where I want it. See where it goes. It seems like the nose wants to come up a little bit. A little forward trim. I'm going to let go. See what happens here. Let the airplane tell you where it wants to go. That'll prevent you from over-controlling and having those PIOs, or pilot-induced oscillations. As we approach 27,000 feet here, I kind of want to check what is our optimum climb? The progress page. Is there like an optimum? I'm sure there is. Altitude. Oh, here we go. Econ Cruise. Optimum and max. Max is 40. So we are climbing up to pretty close to max altitude, which will be, we should see the, what's it called? Coffin Corner come down here in a little bit. Mr. Alvarado, very nice stream. Glad I found it. Thank you so much, sir. Welcome on board. Super Dude, where can I see the plus 10, minus 10? So on the Boeing, they make it very easy for you. Your TAT is located right here. So right here. So it's minus 19C. So theoretically, we're out of all visible precipitation. So I'm going to go ahead and turn engine anti-ice off. And it will give you a little bit better performance too. You can see here my N1's just barely creeped up a little bit, 96.7 now. I think they were 96.5. Because when you're running engine anti-ice or any type of additional bleed air on the engines, you're going to lose performance in your climb out. The sim's a bit loud, huh? Let me go ahead and turn it down. I had it juiced up there for takeoff. Let me turn it all down now. Hopefully, let me know if this is a good sound volume for you. Aaron Hastings, 10 years from now, real flight simmer flies a real Boeing 737. Oh my word. Yeah, we're pretty heavy. In fact, either that or she's kind of struggling to climb out.
Subscriber ahead.
Just little control inputs here. I'm at the point now where I've had my fun hand flying. Let's go ahead and put Command A on and enjoy some wing views here for a minute. I'll get rid of the Boeing yoke until we start talking about it in cruise again. What do I think about the yoke? I love it. There is one thing that kind of... Well, there's two things that I have opinions on. We'll get that here in a little bit when we get up to cruise altitude. Let's enjoy the climb out. Yeah, we are pretty heavy. Captain Britannia, hello, just sub. Thank you for the new subscribe. Welcome aboard. A couple new subscribers there in the climb out. Thank you all for subscribing. So right now it is a pretty smooth climb out, so we don't need to do any speed intervention. I'm going to just go ahead and let it climb out at 8.0 Mach, which is pretty impressive. If only we can have the X-Plane camera system, yeah. That is the one thing that is unparalleled. You wish the X-Buck markings were removed? Yeah, Orion, I'm going to get to that too. Orion. I think I might have it. Well, I don't know if I have a solution for the actual markings, but yeah, the Xbox, the Power Connect on the left side. I will tell you this though, Thrustmaster sure knows how to hit the market with a boom, because this being Xbox compatible and the price that they're selling at, they are probably making an absolute killing on this thing. And the fact that it's Xbox compatible too, I mean, that is, whoever is the lead product development or product designer at Thrustmaster, they are sharp, because they saw this coming and they have cornered the market essentially. Do I have experience with the Honeycomb Alpha, and how does it compare? I do. I have a lot of experience over 2 years. Today is the first stream that my Alpha sits on the floor next to me and I'm not using it. And we're going to get to that here at Top of Climb. So I just kind of want to pace ourselves. That way people leaving and coming back to the stream, they want to hear that. I say, hey, at Top of Climb, I'm going to go all into the yoke discussion. Right now we're looking good though. Let me go ahead and resync my heading bug. Mr. Max Ranked, 28 months. What's up, man? It's our 2-year anniversary. V1, I missed it by a month. Sorry. Hey, Max. Dude, thank you so much for the continued support as a commercial pilot, sir. Max, I appreciate you hanging out with me on the stream, hanging out in the Discord. I really do appreciate you and your longevity that you've had with the channel. It is an anniversary indeed. Hey, it's all right. We can make up for it if I see some non-FS 2002 screenshots in the Discord. How's that? I think you will enjoy it, man. I think you had a comment earlier about what do I think about PMDG and Microsoft. Max, it's... You guys, if you want to see an X-Plane 11 stream, you may have to drag me kicking and screaming to do one more stream. Because, gee, I don't know. This is fun. Mr. Alexandra says a cool stream from yesterday at Santos Dumont. Thank you, sir. You have to do it again when the Phoenix releases in the 320. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, Mr. Bellini. We're going to do it in the 320. In fact, this is the plan. This is the goal. In case you're unaware, maybe you're a viewer, you're not subscribed. So I kind of started doing quote-unquote tours at milestones. So at 7,000 subscribers, a little over 3 years ago, I did a 7-hour long haul live. We went from JFK to London City. And then for the next few months, we flew all over Europe. And we basically did it as, you know, we are with the airplane. So I didn't skip destinations. If I wanted to go somewhere, we had to fly there. And we hit all kinds of different areas in Europe. Then at 10,000 subs, we did a Concorde flight back to the U.S. And then just recently, we did an Asia Pacific tour, which in hindsight, I wish I would have done it more in Microsoft. I wish I would have waited, because the scenery, what made it very hard for the Asia Pacific tour was the scenery was very limiting in X-Plane 11. I wish I would have done more in Microsoft Flight Sim. But to kind of make up for it, as soon as we hit 25,000 K subs, we are doing a miniature South America tour, and it's going to be pretty much exclusively in Microsoft Flight Sim. So we're going to fly the PMDG, and if the Phoenix releases, with the Phoenix, and we're going to basically start at the top. Like I said, we'll leave somewhere mid South America, like maybe MROC's, San Jose, Costa Rica, and then fly south from there, go all through Colombia, all the way around Peru, Brazil, all that good stuff. So if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe so we can hit that 25K mark and hit off a little mini tour. Thank you, VTJ, for another $10 dono, man. Very much appreciated. Thank you, sir. Very kind of you. Thank you. Jason Jones says, any tips for my 10-year-old son to become a pilot? Jason Jones, get him started early. And as far as tips, you know, make sure it's something that he indeed wants to do, because while on the surface, there's a lot of great things about being a pilot. There is, I won't deny that, but it is a demanding job, especially for if it's a career type deal he's getting into. Make sure it is something that he wants to do. Take him up for a discovery flight. Typically, they sell, I don't know, like a 45-minute flight experience in a 172 or a 152 for a decent price. I mean, I don't know now. I'm not sure what part of the world you're tuning in from, but it will, that will kind of be a moment for him. Take him up for a discovery flight, see if it is indeed something he enjoys, and then once he gets bit by the aviation bug, there'll be nothing you can do to stop him. You know, some people get bit by the bug early on. Some people it doesn't happen till, a couple lessons into their training. But once you get bit by the AV bug, it is hard to put down. And honestly, I think the flight simulation bug is very similar. Similar. And from London, there you go. So, yes, and then, go on from there. Get him started early. See if it's something he's interested in, and if indeed he gets bit by the bug, then try to align him with some type of flight school that will guarantee hours or a job at the end of it. Whether it's, if you go to our flight school, you get all your flight training here, you're guaranteed an instructor position to build time. Or if you go through our training program, you get a guaranteed interview with X Airline. See if any type of schools like that are available. Jeremy says, as is a tradition for new tours, I'm going to whip up a South American version theme for the tour. Jeremy Harvey. Jeremy, I gotta say, shout out to Jeremy Harvey, guys, in chat. He does all the sounds, all the music you hear on this channel, notification sounds, they all come straight out of Mr. Jeremy Harvey's creative mind. So huge shout out to him for that. He's been doing dedicated soundtracks for the channel since the beginning. So thank you, Jeremy, for your continued contribution. But I gotta say, every time he releases a new soundtrack, it's my new favorite. And right now, that Asia Pacific one is still one of my absolute favorites, and I'm gonna use it every single time I do any type of flight in the Asian theater, because you absolutely nailed that one, man. It is awesome. Steve M, welcome to Private Pilot, sir! ! Welcome for your new perks in chat. Welcome aboard the green team, sir. All right, we're level 390. Let's go up and turn the seatbelt sign off. We're going to let them run. Seatbelt sign is off. I'm going to turn down the sounds a little bit. We're going to bring these down. We'll go outside here for a second. It's probably going to be loud. Watch your ears. Let's go ahead and turn this all the way down. And let me get a little background music going on. I like this song. This is a good starting out song. It gets us fired up. Hopefully it's not too loud. One thing that I really dislike is music that's too loud during streams. Should just be a very in the background, just to kind of block out some of my fans that I got going. In fact, I could probably just turn that off. Well, you know what? Let's do this. Let's talk Boeing Yoke. Good to see you using that new 737 type rating from flight deck to sim. Andy M71, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Indeed, I am, my friend. Indeed, I've been binge watching / skipping through a lot of his old videos on how to do things in the 737. Great teacher, great guy. You know what's ironic, and I did not know this about flight deck to sim, is that we trained essentially together. Literally maybe 10 nautical miles apart at different airports. I believe he was in Goodyear, and I did a lot of my training out of Deer Valley. He was also an instructor out there. I was an instructor right across the street, so I'm sure I have heard his voice on the radio way back in the day. Probably, I think it's the same time frame too. I think we actually had an overlap in time frame. We might have anyway. I don't know. I'd have to double check that part, but it's just kind of cool that we tore holes in the same sky as very young aviators, young cadets, so that's pretty cool. All right. Deer Valley is your home airport, Tony Johns? Oh, man. I tore a lot of holes in the sky above Deer Valley. Although it's not certainly the case, I'm choosing to blame you for all the money I'm spending in Microsoft Flight Sim from those views. Hey, Tom, it is what it is, my friend. I can't. When I get excited about something, I got to share it with you guys. You know that. But at least you won't have buyer's remorse. I can guarantee that. All right. So let's talk about this yoke here real quick. First and foremost, I'm coming from the Honeycomb Alpha. So should I just get it? I don't know. I might be able to get. Nah, whatever. You guys know what the Alpha looks like. So the Honeycomb Alpha, had it for 2 years. The external texture of the Honeycomb Alpha was very good. It had this rubber, like non-stick coating on it. Not non-stick, but like non-skid. Just a real nice. It felt expensive. When you grab the Honeycomb Alpha yoke, you feel like, oh, I'm grabbing a very high-quality peripheral. Remind you, I think the Honeycomb Alpha comes in about just under $300 US in the 280 range, maybe somewhere around there. Someone can probably put it in the chat.
Subscriber.
So
Look up.
I initially had a review of that video. It's still on my channel. I'm going to keep it up, but I'm going to do a 2 year later review. And from the outside, it felt like it was going to last a very long time because, like I said, the feeling, the tactile feel felt good. My personal yoke had a very stiff pitch axis, and I don't know if this is true across the board for everybody else because I've heard it varies depending on which yoke you got. Maybe a little quality control issue going on. But mine, in general, was very stiff to move the pitch column. And why that is a problem in flight simulation specifically is not just because it's kind of hard to get precise movements. Pitch control in a real airplane is very different than pitch control in a flight simulator because of aerodynamic forces on the aircraft. And since we don't have any force feedback yokes, it's very hard to kind of get that perfect blend of tension and smoothness in pitch and still be able to work the trim. So the very heavy pitch axis on my yoke proved to be pretty difficult. I found myself flying with the trim a lot more than you should have. And what I mean by flying with the trim is like when I come into flare, I just hold the trim down.
PMDG 737 on me. Love the streams. Cheers.
Big Z, thank you for the $70 dono. $69.99. 1 PMDG 737 on you. Oh boy, looks like we're gonna have to do a 737 giveaway here at some point. I'm gonna figure out how I can set that up, but we will do it indeed. One lucky viewer will be picking up a PMDG 737 on Mr. Big Z. Thank you so much for that dono, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Thank you. Bank angle check right back at you, sir. So back on topic, what I was saying is like flying with the trim is something you don't want to do. You don't want to be coming into flare and just holding the trim down because you can't make fine pitch movements. So that was kind of problem number one. I thought it would smooth out, and for some people, kind of like Aeroflies, he said my alpha was stiff at the beginning, but then after a few days it loosened up. So mine never loosened up, so I don't really know if that's a widespread problem or not, but let's move on from that. The switches, obviously the switching panel on the alpha is more geared towards GA aircraft, which is totally fine. I got no problem with it. Personally, I never used any of them, like the master switch, avionics switch, and all that. But one of my switches just stopped working. I believe the taxi light switch, it just broke. It just didn't work in general. And I found out it was a problem in Microsoft because it was actually bound to something, and it was bound in the broken position, and I couldn't undo it. I had to actually kind of take apart the switch to undo it so I could turn my taxi lights off. So that was problem number 2. Problem number 3, and this is the biggest problem, and I'm just going to get the yoke, and I'm going to show it to you on camera. Hold on. All right. Why are we listening to an ATIS? Let's go ahead and change that. Let's go ahead and change that frequency. All right. Ooh. So I know this kind of sounds like an alpha review. It kind of is, but I want you to know that what I'm about to say about the TCA Boeing yoke is not based on just me getting it and being overexcited. This is actually, this opinion that I'm giving you is based on 2 years of flying with this guy right here, the Alpha. And I'm going to try to position it so you can see what I'm talking about. The biggest problem I had, this is kind of the underside of the Alpha here. There is a cable connection that goes from the main box to the handle, like right over here. Boom, boom. The initial cable that came with this Alpha seemed pretty short, but I didn't think anything of it, right? It was a coiled Cat 3 cable, whatever, just a USB cable. I thought, oh, it'll be fine. The problem was, over time, that cable started to actually wear the ports loose inside of the main base and on the grip of the Alpha itself. And you can kind of see, let me see if I can actually show you the port. It's kind of hidden. There's that Cat 3 cable port right there. So this actually started getting loose, and there's really nothing you can do to fix that short of getting a new one, I guess. I don't know. I'm not technically sound enough to take it apart and do it myself. So there were some fixes on the internet that said, hey, if you put a longer Cat 3 cable in there, it'll fix it, and zip tie it so it doesn't have any tension. And I did all that. I did the fixes, but my problems still got worse. And the problems with it were very crucial. Number one, the buttons on the yoke would stop working. So my trim, I would get runaway trim scenarios quite frequently. I would, go trim up, and then the button would rattle loose, and then it would just leave that input on there, and I couldn't stop it, and the trim was running away. So that was a big problem. And then over time, what happened now is my pitch axis and roll axes started having noise. They would conflict. So when I would go pull back on the pitch column, I would actually get some noise in roll. And it started to render a lot of my airplanes, I wouldn't say unflyable, but it would render them not very user-friendly, and you had to constantly be touching your yoke and your cable. So that, take that for what you may. That's where I'm coming from with my yoke experience. So with the PMDG out, I said, okay, you know what? Let's try something that is totally different. The pendular axis of the Thrustmaster TCA yoke. My initial impressions when I pulled it out of the package were, okay, this is actually a little bit heavier duty. From what I've seen, I've been watching Captain Canada stream with it, XP72, Flight Deck to Sim had it. I've been watching their streams and their yoke cams. My initial thought was, well, it looks kind of cheap and plasticky on the outside. But when I picked it up and actually put it on my desk, I'm like, wow, this actually has some weight to it. It feels really solid, very solid. There's no problem with that. The texture on the outside, though, it is exactly what you see. It's basically an ABS plastic. It does not feel as high quality as the Alpha. The Alpha has that nice rubber, whatever the hell it is called. And I think I'm going to actually wrap this in something, and I don't know what, because I will tell you the axes that you feel here with the pitch and the roll do not reflect the cheap look that you may get with this yoke. because at initial glance, it does kind of look a little, looks like ABS plastic or whatever type of plastic, and it is. That's what it feels like. But the internals feel much, much smoother, and they're also configurable so you can reduce the tension or add tension that ships with an extra spring. Also, by default, the roll axis actually gets a little bit stiffer as you roll into it. Let me make sure I didn't just disconnect my autopilot there. I didn't. Okay, good. So the roll axis will actually get stiffer the more roll you put into it. Back away from the window a tad there, which I like because, again, now we're starting to simulate control forces. Airline says comfy black tennis grip is a good shout for the Boeing Yoke, and that's funny you bring that up. Something exactly like that is what I was thinking about wrapping this in to make it feel a little bit more stout, because it's mounted really solid on my desk and it moves solidly, but the tactile feel is kind of like, oh man, really, you couldn't have wrapped it with something. And when you look at the price point of this yoke, they got to be making a killing, because the honeycomb is cheaper and it's nice wrapped in that rubber material. They got lights on it, and it just, I feel like I wish they could have wrapped it in something. But now let's get to another thing here. So obviously the Xbox logos, that might bother some. I know you have the X, Y, A, B, and the big Xbox logo on the base over here. Not big, just the Xbox button. But it is what it is. It is catering to multiple consoles. So the one thing that is kind of I'm getting used to now and enjoying it though. But so the pitch axis on this pendular motion feels so good. It actually is an adjustment mentally for me, because if you've ever flown, and I think this is really only going to be noticeable for people who fly airplanes in real life, it feels so realistic with its pendular motion that you hold it and trim waiting for the pressure to be released on the yoke, which it never does. It will always spring back to center. So, I mean, I can pitch aft to 15 degrees, trim to 15 degrees, but if I don't let go of the yoke, it's going to exponentially climb or descend. So it's kind of, you feel like you're flying an airplane with no trim, but you're using trim. It's just a weird sensation that I never experienced before until I got this yoke out of my desk and started flying with it. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. I think it's just the nature of what my brain perceives is, okay, I'm actually flying an airplane here, trim the control pressures off the control column, but the control pressures never go away. So that's kind of like, man, it's weird, but I will 100% take that weirdness and the smoothness and that pendular motion over my traditional, stick it in the console there or stick, straight ahead on the Alpha design. So it is a lot of fun to fly. I've done a couple takeoffs. I've done one landing in it. I'm hoping when we land in Jackson Hole, what I'm going to do is we're actually going to do some traffic pattern work. I want to practice landings, just some regular old traffic pattern work myself. So I'm going to, if we have time and I'm not completely melting, it's really hot in my room right now in the office, but we might do that because I want to get some more practice with this yoke. But overall, I think the price is steep. I will say that. I mean, I don't want to say the product does not reflect the price, but man, they really maxed. They really went to the far end of the spectrum as far as price point goes. But I think that could possibly have to do with it being compatible with Xbox and maybe some additional features inside the yoke that I'm not aware of. But overall, I do not have buyer's remorse at all with it. I am very pleased with it. I just wish there was something additional on the outside here, which I'm going to take care of myself. So that's my feeling on this yoke. I think it's really going to be a lot of fun to fire the BAE 146 in, and of course some more PMDG 737s. Now I know somebody there in chat posted, what about the TCA throttles? So now when it goes to throttles, my perspective flips. I don't think you can buy a better throttle for a desktop sim enthusiast than you can with the Honeycomb Bravo throttle. It is the most adaptable throttle set on the market. If you don't it comes with Boeing levers, Airbus levers, GA levers, and then you can buy an additional like Airbus pack, right? Or maybe it doesn't come with Airbus levers, but it comes with GA, throttle prop mixtures, and Boeing levers. You can buy additional Airbus levers from Honeycomb, and then you can also get mods from 3D Sim Mods or anybody else on websites such as Etsy, which is what I've done here, and turn it into something that it really is special, like having flap detents. I have the flap detents, which is really cool. When I fly Airbus, I actually have magnetic detents, so I have the Climb detent, the Toga detent, the Flex detent, and I still have a much, much larger range of motion than you do with the Airbus TCA thrust system. I've got a spoiler lever that actually comes up to arm just like the real airplane, and I still have an axis left over right now. So the Bravo throttle plus the autopilot buttons, I don't think you can see, I got my keyboard up here now, but the autopilot buttons are really awesome to use. I've been using the heading button a lot. You guys have probably seen it in the streams where you see the airplane turning. Like, how are you turning? And my hand's over here. I'm actually moving the heading control knob on the Honeycomb Bravo. A lot of the airplanes, it actually works out of the box. You don't have to bind anything else to make it work. We're starting to pick up a little bit of chop here. I'm going to go speed, intervene. We're going to dial it back to like 7.9 just because I'm uncomfortable with our distance to redline. So, yeah, the Bravo throttle is by far one of the best investments I ever made as a sim enthusiast because it's so adaptable to so many different aircraft. It's awesome. So, yeah, Orion, you said if only they had force feedback for the trim perception. Look, if this TCA Yoke had a force feedback for trim pressures, I don't know. I mean, I could close my eyes and I'd probably feel like I'm in a real airplane. I mean, it's very good. That would be next level. That would 100% be next level. I wish that was a thing. Force feedback doesn't work at this level and be enormously price prohibitive. Yeah, I don't know why we don't have it in Yokes. I think, what is it, the Yoke? Somebody's mentioned the Yoko has it, but yeah, Steve, the trim wheel on the Bravo is super nice. It just, I cannot say enough good things about the Honeycomb Bravo. Unfortunately, I cannot do the same for the Alpha. But remember, that's just based on my personal experience. I know people, members in the Discord that have the Alpha have no problems with it, and they enjoy their Alpha. And hey, that's more power to you. If I never had the problem with button functionality and starting to get trim runaways, if that never came up, I don't know if I ever would have made the jump to spend the kind of money to buy the TCA Yoke. Personally, with the problems I was having, though, it was becoming more of a pain to fly yoke-driven aircraft because of that. So I made the jump. The TCA Yoke is 370 pounds. GNR, exactly. It's expensive. It's very expensive. And again, I don't want to say it. It's kind of like the Leonardo in Microsoft, right? It's super well simulated. It's great. Well, no, that's a bad comparison. Take that back. I don't want to say the price doesn't reflect it, but it's a steep price. You won't have buyer's remorse. I can guarantee you that. I guarantee you this. You will not have buyer's remorse with the TCA Yoke. But it is something that you're going to need to save up for a little bit. Have I got my specs? My specs. Exclamation point specs in chat, buddy. How's the PMDG? I'm absolutely loving it, man. Absolutely loving it. When are you going to go back to an Airbus? Mr. Martini, as soon as the Phoenix drops. Hit me up with Mr. Amir. Hit me up, man. I'm waiting. Mr. VT Jake says, have you figured out a workaround, the gear lever? No, VT Jake. I thought there was a post in the Discord about a workaround for the gear lever, but I have not figured that out. I am just using G, and I believe I had the same issue with the TCA Yoke because the Boeing and aircraft that require the gear lever to be off, I guess in 1930, they wanted to turn the gear off instead of just keep it up. So it's kind of a problem for 2-position switches when the lever is a 3-position switch. Now, I think you could probably configure that in FS, what is it, FSUPIC, FSUIPC, whatever, but I'll probably just use G. VT Jake, you feel like you wasted money on your alpha? I don't want to say it, don't feel that way. I don't think you shouldn't feel like you wasted money on your alpha. As long as your alpha is working for you, it's going to be perfectly fine. I would, however, suggest getting a longer Cat 3 or Cat 5 cable than what comes stock with the Alpha and making sure that your ports don't wear loose. I think I saw Romulus comment. He said that once the ports get loose, there's really no fixing it. So prevention is the best way to take care of that. So make sure you get longer cables there and those ports don't have any friction on them, because when you move your yoke back and roll, you're going to put strain on those ports, and they wear loose, then that's when the issues show up. The Max doesn't have 3-position gear lever? That I don't know. What VMR file are you using for VATSIM? I'm using AIG. Bill says I paid $3.99 for mine. Seems reasonably honest. Bill, and that's, like I said, I'm not saying that it's overpriced. I don't want you guys to take that and say I'm saying it's overpriced. I'm saying it's a steep price for a yoke, considering the Alpha is what it is. But I mean, maybe that's why my Alpha stopped working. I don't know. You will not have buyer's remorse, and I'm not saying it's overpriced. But it's one of those purchases you make where you're like, ow, and you feel it. It's kind of like someone hits you in the gut. But I will guarantee you guys, if you have made the jump to the or you're thinking about it, I was on the fence a very long time. If you make the jump, and remember, this is not a sponsored product here. This is just me. I bought it with my own money, just like you guys. If you do make the jump, you will not be disappointed. I will guarantee you that. I think I remember Big Earn video where he showed the gear lever on the Max. Was that the maxed out weather in the Max, Tony? I think I watched that one. Mr. Martini, you haven't had any problems with the cable ports on your Alpha? Excellent, excellent. Richland, yeah, your Alpha has a stiff pitch, but none other quality issues. There you go. So, and guys, I've been flying all those Boeing streams I did recently. That was all with the Alpha. I'm not saying you can't fly a Boeing with the Alpha. You absolutely can. But just be wary of those ports. How are we looking on TOD? 102 miles to TOD? Beautiful. Let's enjoy a wing view, shall we? Oh, boy. All right. I guess we'll leave the cam up. I kind of like that cam. Kind of like the blue light situation I got going on here. I replaced a 15-year-old Cytec, so this is why $399 seem reasonable. Yep. Is PMDG going to make the Max? I believe so. Fix the Bravo UC lever in the PMDG forums. I tried it and it works fine. Awesome. Do you have to do FSUIPC stuff, Mr. Wizbowski? Is there something you have to configure in that software, or is it something that you do straight out of the sim? Do I recall manufacturer of my Airbus side stick? We'll be ordering that shortly. Roger Moore. Absolutely. Exclamation point stick and I don't even know. Let me get it for you. Exclamation point stick will bring you to the FSprojects side stick. And then I actually made a dedicated video to it, which I will get a link for you right now, in case you guys want it. Hey, my video is the first one that pops up in the search bar. That's cool. So if you are looking for a side stick, I cannot recommend this. It's a very long-winded discussion. So instead of giving you a discussion, here's a link to the side stick video. This is what I use This is what I use. Remember, they are made to order. So if you are waiting for the Phoenix to drop and you're going to get a stick, you're probably going to want to order before the Phoenix drops, because everyone's going to want a good Airbus side stick. So that's the video. I'm posting the video in chat, and then exclamation point stick will bring you to the home page. I'm sticking with my SATEC ProFlight yoke system for my Boeings. Red Star, hey, there is nothing wrong with that. And that's one thing that, just as a content creator, as a streamer, and having cameras and peripherals, just because I have something or I have a preference on something, absolutely does not mean you have to have the same thing to get the same enjoyment out of it. It's literally just what I have. I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate to be in the position that I am for a lot of my hardware. You know, I do have sponsored products from Cat 3 Design. I got a tiller from them. I have the Flight Sim Projects sponsorship. You know, they set me up with that. Now there's other things that I don't have sponsorships for. Obviously, you know, I bought my Honeycomb. I bought my TCA Yoke.
Look up.
So everybody is in a different chapter financially, and what works for you is what works for you. When I find things that are very good and I think deserve recognition, I like to use my platform and give them that recognition that they deserve. I'm not afraid to fly Boeing with a side stick. Hey, okay, if you're in the Discord, Phantom, the Phenomenal Phantom, I kind of like that. Phenomenal Phantom used to be 737 NG, now he's like MD-80 Phantom. He flies Boeings and MD-80s with a side stick. So if you want to spam ping him, be like, Phantom, why are you flying Boeings with a side stick? I won't be mad, and the mods won't care. So if you just want to annoy him. I love Phantom, but yeah, he's still flying with a side stick on an MD-80 and Boeings. Unbelievable. I fly the 220 for Southwest, exactly, and Pan Am. Thank you, Cactus. Thank you. You fly with an Xbox controller? There you go. Oh, yeah. I will say I like this little mini stick on the yoke. The little mini stick axis. Man, the Boeings, I will say, the Boeing mask here, I love that look. I think it looks so good on the Boeing. As much as I love Airbus, the nose on the Boeing is 10 for 10 awesomeness. The Boeing nose kind of looks like, or the Airbus nose looks like a Boeing ran into a wall. But that little like mask in there, that actually to reduce glare, I don't know if it actually does or not, but that was the original design reason for it. Flight Deck the Sim used an Airbus side stick for 5 years. There you go. I fly Airbuses with the yoke. Hey, that has got to be a unique feeling. Fly with a keyboard. I remember those days. Mouse and mouse and keyboard flying. Mouse axis. Yeah. I've always wondered whether Airbus would eventually get rid of rudder pedals and go full fly-by-wire with Z-axis on a stick. I don't know. Well, I mean, the rudder is fly-by-wire, so the rudder has what's called artificial feel units in it, basically simulating control pressures. And it's actually, believe it or not, it's actually brake-by-wire too. So the brake, when you apply brakes on the Airbus, you're actually commanding a braking action. Flight Force, what sensitivity for the Boeing yoke do I use? Great question. I'll go over it one more time here. Thank you for your $5 super chat, sir. Thank you so much, man. So I believe by default, it came with like a 5% dead zone and linear. What I have found so far, and this may change at the end of the stream, because at the end of this stream, I'm planning on doing a couple takeoffs and landings just to kind of get used to the yoke itself and to show you guys just some pattern work, also practice for me. But so far, my settings are dead zones, reduce those to 2%, both on pitch and roll. Reduce those dead zones to 2%, so it's a very small window of dead zone. Because I noticed it actually has a very good centering mechanism and it doesn't seem to have a lot of noise. So I would recommend putting those dead zones to 2%. And then both pitch and roll axes, I am using a 7%. I believe that's what it is, 7%. You know what the hell, I guess we can check. Let's check, shall we? Let me just double check. And then you guys can screenshot this and keep it. TCA Yoke 737 sensitivity. There you go. 2%. Oh, I actually have a 1% dead zone. 7% in Y. So pitch and then roll is 5% with 2 and 1% dead zones. Those are my settings. Give those a screenshot. If there's any mods in chat, if you have a screenshot of that, you could post it and pin it in the FS 2020 section too. If not, I will take care of that later. What's different? What's different that the Phoenix team is doing than the fly-by-wire? Different airplane, man. Just checking my temps on everything because it's freaking hot in my room right now. How we looking till TOD? It is 53 miles. We will start prepping pretty soon. We'll start prepping pretty soon. We'll come back over here. That was a hell of a view, wasn't it? That view right there? Damn! So, something's making me nervous. My second monitor is it's flickering. Every now and then I get a flicker. The stream goes dead. Make sure I'm alive in Discord, because it's kind of interesting. Man, we got more likes than viewers. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thanks for smashing that like button. Remember, I don't have a set schedule. I am an airline pilot in real life, so when I do stream, when you guys hit the like button, it actually helps tremendously. It works with the YouTube algorithms, and it helps me be able to produce content and get the content out to more people that may be interested in it. So thank you guys for hitting that like button. That's awesome. What was the yoke model again? This is the Thrustmaster TCA Boeing yoke. Thrustmaster TCA Boeing yoke. I do not use the Boeing throttles because I use the Bravo. I use Honeycomb Bravo throttles. But I do have the yoke itself. I was pleasantly surprised by the performance of Microsoft PMDG with the 1080 Ti. Absolutely. I was running it on a 1070. It is, the PMDG airplane is so well optimized. So well optimized. Bluebird says, I couldn't get my tiller axis to work the same as you did. Would you mind tailing your config? Bluebird. So a couple things. Number one, come down here. Go to PMDG setup, aircraft. No. Options. Simulation. So you get to the simulation options all the way to the end. Steering input method. You want prop 1 axis plus rudder. That's what you want there. Then what you need to do in your settings, and this is important, this made a difference. I had my tiller set up to the actual nose wheel tiller axis that's in the user interface. Don't do that. Whatever you want to use for your tiller, clear off every axis you've got and bind prop 1 axis to whatever you want to use as your tiller axis. And then when you get into the airplane and you have this set up like that, it will work just fine. So that's what I'm running. But I did notice there is a little bit of weird because you can control, I guess, the nose wheel a few degrees with the rudder pedals on the ground. So if you move your rudder pedals and you're moving the tiller at the same time, you can get a little bit of a jerky moment. I think that's probably a limitation within the sim because I don't think there's any way to fully disconnect that in the Boeing. So, Kevin Thomas, what's up, brother? He says, how's it going, Cap? Hope you had a great departure out of YYC. I had a beautiful departure. We went up to almost 30 degrees, nose up, pitch attitude. Freaking flight deck to sim would have failed my check ride for sure. He said no more than 20 degrees, and we definitely flew through that limitation. But it was a lot of fun. Loving flying with the TCA Boeing yoke. Am I using custom mouse behaviors that can't? I'm not. I'm just using whatever's default. I think I'm going to change it, though, Mick, because I do remember reading about that. They have custom mouse behavior and all that. So I might have to change that out. Throttles are growing on me now that the 737 has been released. It didn't work right next to plane 11. Good to hear it, man. Haha, Andre, what's up, man? Oh, dude, you're stuck in a hotel room with Rona. Much needed content. Andre, sorry to hear you got the Rona, man. Make sure you are drinking tons of water. Tons of water. Clear Fubar, take it easy, man. Gotta run. Thanks for the stream. Have a great night. Fubar, same to you, my friend. Same to you. Take care. Have a good evening, sir. Steve M, I know. That is a straight juice for you, is it not? Flyboy, what's up, man? We're doing good. Guys, give me a minute. I'm going to step off just before we prepare to start down. I'm going to take a quick leg stretch here, stand up, and I'm going to pour myself some more water because I am sweating in here. It is almost 90 degrees. Unbelievable. So give me 2 minutes. I will be right back with some fresh water, and we're going to start down for top of descent. All right. Chair set up here. Mr. Martini, beautiful views, huh? Beautiful. All right, 8 miles. Oh boy, I don't know what we need to set, but let's go ahead and dial in something so it starts down. Let's go ahead and get the sim up, get the music down. Let's take a look at what we need to do here. So, popping out Navigraph. Jackson Hole. You can see the moon on the left side view. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right, we said we were on the RNAV, let's see, the ILS Zulu, right? Off of Zabiv. All right, time to do some work here. There we go, we're coming down. We're gonna set Zabiv at 11,000. Listen to that bass roll back. Oh yeah. $11,000 is set. Let's come down here. Let's do our initial ref. I think we can get away with a flaps 30 landing in here, right? Should be plenty long. Flaps 30, 129 on the speed, 109.10 and 187. 109.10. Oh, wait, what? Oh, 109, yeah, 109.10. 109.10 is set. And approach course 187. TD icon. Who's got that? Does Flight Deck the Sim have that? I think he's got the top of descent icon, doesn't he? I just joined his channel the other day. Got to figure out how to get into his Discord. All right, 187. Both sides is set for the approach course. Have I had any issue with TCAS? Had a plane fly right past my window yesterday and did not even show it on the display. Never mind a warning. I have not had that issue. Was your TCAS on? That would be my first question. Make sure your TCAS is on. Remember, you got multiple modes down here. Make sure you were in TARA. If you weren't in TARA, you would not get an alert. TA stands for Traffic Advisory. RA stands for Resolutionary Advisory. So if you're in TA only, you're not going to get a resolution, which is the climb, or descend. Fun fact, in the Airbus, I don't know if it's the same in the Boeing, when you are single engine, or let's say you have an engine failure, one of the items for the engine failure checklist is to put the TCAS into TA only, because the traffic or the resolution advisory will not take into account that you are single engine and you have single engine performance. So you don't want to comply with an RA and lose control of the aircraft. So that's set. Jessica Hunt, welcome to Private Pilot! Exclamation point, welcome for your new perks on the channel. Oh boy. All right, 60, let's set our DH. It's a 200 DH, so we're going to dial that in. I'm starting to learn what things are in this airplane too, which is cool. So 200 is set. This is kind of a tight approach coming into ZBeef at max 180 knots. What I want to do is I'm actually going to manually change that. Can I manually change this to be 160 at 11,000? Will it make, is it this easy to do it in the Boeing, or is this an Airbus only thing? Hey, look at that. They figured something out. 160 at 11,000. I'm manually changing that because we're coming in at a weird angle here over the intermediate fix. That's what IF stands for. And 180 knots max, I mean, you probably could do it, but there's a lot of terrain around, just like driving a car. The slower you are, the tighter that radius of turn you're going to have. So I'm going to manually set this up to 160 and make it a hard altitude of 11,000. You could see that that's put us high on path. So I'm going to go ahead and go spoid brake out, and let's go ahead and get some spoid brake action here as we descend down. See if we can get caught up on that path. Which airline do I fly for? I fly for Pan Am and the 220 at Southwest. Team Vodka, what's up, man? Welcome back. Did you get it all sorted? Are you gonna be in the Discord for post-stream assessments? Let me know. I don't know if I can hang out long, but I want to see what your impressions are. If there is an RA needed with single engine, would you just follow ATC? Andre Henry, yes. And hopefully, so the thing is, Andre, remember with TCAS, both airplanes are receiving, oh wow, we blew through that frickin' TOD. Now we're below the path. Let's go ahead and stow the spoid brake. I'm gonna get terrain mode on here as well. I'm curious, let me do something here. This is me messing with it now. I wanna go vertical speed. I don't wanna do 4,000 feet a minute. Can I do vertical speed 1,000, or let's just do 1,500. I wanna catch back up to it, and then I will reselect VNAV. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, RA, Andre, that's a great question. So remember, both aircraft in a resolution or a TCAS incident will get an advisor or a resolutionary advisor. So if one doesn't comply, you're hopefully saying that I hope the other guy complies. That's the whole point of that. And I'm gonna go VNav path, and now maybe we're not coming down at 4,000 feet a minute. I don't know. We'll see. So that's kind of what you're banking on, is that the other guy complies, because it's kind of like, well, if you're flying in weather and high terrain, what is more important? Well, the terrain is guaranteed to kill you. Well, the weather, it may be absolutely awful, but it's not a guaranteed death. You know, you fly into a mountain, you pretty much know what's going to happen. Same with the RA and single engine. If you're single engine and you do an evasive maneuver, you may either A, structurally damage the aircraft because you may already have some and rip a wing off, which is guaranteed worst case scenario, or some other loss of control, which is worst case scenario. Hitting that other airplane, if he has an operating TCAS, hopefully it's much less of a threat because he will comply with his TCAS. That's kind of the thought process behind it. Dylan, you're all there? Excellent. WestJet, hell yeah. Yeah, this is a WestJet stream dedicated to Mr. Dimitri. All right, 29907 is set once and set twice for the current meter. I feel like we're just hauling coming down in here. Jackson Hole, 260 at 8 knots. So 260 at 8. Quartering tailwind, almost a crosswind. Wait, what are we landing? 19. Oh no, yeah, it's all a direct crosswind, maybe a little bit on the tail. All right, this is making me nervous here. So I'm going to go speed intervention. I'm going to dial this back right now to 250. 1,000 to go. $787 for Hughes Air West. I haven't heard that in a long time. Jungle Turns gave it away for you. Slam Cannon, what's up, man? Very thankful to have a real Airbus Pan Am pilot on YouTube. Hell yeah, brother. All right, here we go. Yoke Camp's coming back on for the duration of the landing because I like it. Can you dim the terrain on the display? Yeah, so it would be what, inboard DU, and I could turn the little knob, which is the terrain display, right? I think it is. Yeah, so you can turn it down a little bit. But we're fine. We're going to keep it that way. We're looking good. What's up, Rams fan? Good to see you, man. All right, 11 is set. The final approach fix altitude, looks like there's some type of shower over there, is Usgu at 8,000. So we're in VNAV path. I'm going to dial in 8,000 for the final approach fix. That is set. I'm going to manually bring this back now to 160. And let's go ahead and clean up the overhead. Should have turned that on pretty much on top of descent. We're getting ready to go through 10,000 feet. We'll light it up. No ATC, so we don't worry about those lights. Does this aircraft have an HGS? It does not. I mean, we could put one on, but that would not be realistic to WestJet 700. You have arrived. Luster, welcome to the stream, man. Perfect timing. We're about to come in. We'll do this approach, and we'll probably do one or two just takeoff and landings after this, because I kind of want to get a feel for this yoke here. You cannot select lower airspeed before correct flap config. Yeah, but we're still it'll still come. It's still walking back. So right about now, I'm gonna go to flaps 5. Do Canadians butter a landing or they maple syrup it? I'm pretty sure they maple syrup it. We're gonna Betty Crocker this. You know what I mean. Yeah, we're gonna maple syrup this one, my friend. Zombler, welcome to Private Pilot, sir. Exclamation point, welcome for your new perks here on the V1 channel. Glad to have you on board, Team Green. Welcome aboard. I guess we'll do auto brake 2. What's the runway length again here? It's not super short, is it? What's up with that? What's going on with this thing? Okay. Weird. Miss Avitab. 6,300 feet? Ah, we should be fine.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
6,300 feet, we should be fine. We're pretty light. 6.7 on the fuel, so we got more gas if we need to go around. Alright, there's out of 10,000. We're coming down. I'm actually going to start coming back even more. What is going on with the... There's not snow in Jackson Hole, is there? $13 degrees? No, I'm pretty sure it'll all be melted. Alright, oh well. Here we come. Let's dial this back to... Oh no, I just messed up the course. 187. Keep it at 150. Coming in nice and slow. Let's go flaps 15. The area did just get a snowstorm. Ah, nice. Alright, so it is real then. More views than likes again. You guys are absolutely awesome. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. Or more likes than views. You guys are awesome. Alright, we're at a 9.5. The final approach fixed altitude is 8,000. Let's go ahead and arm it up here. Let's go approach mode. And we are Yoke. Glide slope is armed. Our knit ref speed was, I forget, 129. So we'll bug 134. The flap texture is fantastic. It is. It's the best flap texture I've seen in a sim. Revert to heading so you can capture the load faster. The airline may prevent load capture on the PMDG. Revert to heading mode. Oh boy, yeah, because we're above it. We're above the glide slope, so it won't capture from above. Let's see if she grabs it. 8,000. Let's see what happens here. Moment of truth. Single channel Yoke. Will she grab the glide slope? We're coming down on path, so we're looking all right. Let's go ahead and go gear down. Oh, recording. Not good. Let me get that up. Come on, flight recorder. Where are you at? We are indeed recording. I'd like to get visual with the airport here so I could just fly it, but... Flaps 30. Selected. We were 129, so 134 for VRAP or VAP. Glide slope is captured. If we got to go around, we're going to set 10,000 feet. Ground altitude is set 10,000. We're looking good, friends. Oh, you know what? I never bound my autopilot disconnect. That was a critical oversight on my part, huh? I guess I'll do it this way up here.
1,000.
Alright, I think I can see the runway. Runway's in sight, I think. Uh-oh. There we go. I don't have it bound on the yoke, so that's disengaged. I gotta bind that for the next flight.
Look up.
I'm gonna undo auto thrust here as well, so my thrust levers. And I immediately went below the glide slope.
slope.
Check. Glide slope check.
Glide slope.
Glide slope check. Correcting. Wow, this is more like a whiteout condition here. Alright, we're on ref, we're on slope, I can see the runway, gear is down. Oh. Spoilers are armed. Wow, talk about a little bit of a runway illusion here. I can't really see what's going on. That's weird effect. A little bit high, definitely high.
Glide slope. Glide
Check.
slope.
Close. Hold the attitude. Oh, come on, baby. Yeah. That felt good. Spoilers. Reverse idle, I guess. Whew, we had to get on the brakes a little hard there at the end. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Grease in the crease, my friend Tony John's killing me, man. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Jackson Hole. That felt like a good landing. What was that rate? That doesn't pop up on my screen. That was a maple syrup. We maple syruped all over that runway. We maple syruped all over that runway. I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to bring that up and flaps up. I got to tell you, there is a, remember, it's not a plug, I'm not sponsored, but there is a level of satisfaction you get when you land this airplane with this yoke. There is a level of satisfaction of holding that pitch attitude there with that pendular motion that you can't really explain other than it feels really, really good. It was a -90? Damn. No more Airbus flare, Jeremy. Yeah, see, but the problem is, Jeremy, now what's going to happen when I get back in the Airbus, I'm not going to flare until I'm already on the pavement. So that's what I'm worried about. I'm going to have to do a couple Airbus streams here. Because if I hop back in the Airbus now, I'll probably just smash it down. All right, let's go ahead and kill that, taxi lights on, these can come off. Ah, you know what, I gotta leave the lights on for replay, so we'll do that. Boom, boom, reset. Everything's reset for replay mode. This is the Axonos Jackson Hole, by the way. Alright, we'll take a parking spot right here next to this Americant. Spot 6. Oh, we're going to touch tips now with that Airbus. I got to come back to the left. Look at that 319. Man, I cannot wait for Phoenix to drop. I'm not sure which parking line is ours. I'm going to stop it right there. Ooh, that was hard. Erp. ERPs have been set. Parking brake is set. Let's disconnect from VATSIM. And let's watch that replay, huh? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, we're going to come back to the cockpit, throw you guys into replay mode. And let's take a look at it. Let's go out here. Gotta get the flaps back out. Oh, I wonder if they'll come out in the replay. It looks like they are. I gotta hand it to PMDG. Their replay works pretty darn good with Flight Recorder. All the animations work. I mean, you guys saw I didn't even have the flaps out when we started the replay, but it's coming down now. That's good. X-plane tower view. We'll do it. We'll take the drone cam out. We'll watch this landing a couple. This was the first ever TCA Boeing Yoke landing. We're going to watch it a couple times. Oh yeah. Andrew, this is your home? Nice. The 319 is asking why you betrayed it in favor of the 737. It's a short betrayal. It's just an affair. We'll be back. We'll be back home, Jeremy. Don't worry. We'll be back home. Are the flap detents fixed? How does it work when changing from Airbus to Boeing? So I have the Airbus dedicated one. It just so happens that if you stop the flap lever in the detents, if you stop halfway between detents, the settings work just perfectly with the Boeing. So I mean, they make an actual Boeing flap detent, but I don't have that. This works just fine. Yeah, I just stop halfway. Like between flaps 3 and full, if I go to that middle position, that's essentially flaps 30 in the Boeing. Yes, I am a real airline pilot. T-bomb, I don't know, man. Only time will tell. Only time will tell. Let's see if the thrust reverser works here. So we went into idle reverse, and I couldn't get more than that, but that's fine. Let's see if the animation will work. Ooh, that looked buttery. That, indeed, looked buttery. All right, pause, wind it back, resume. We'll do a drone cam next. So we were definitely a little bit high. One thing I'm noticing is the glide slopes are not... that's like 3 approaches now where the glide slopes have all been off. I don't know if it's a PMDG thing or something else. Oh, that was 100% a butter. And 10 for 10 on the center line. See? Look, all you guys need to do is spend $400 on a yoke and then you can land like that. That was a absolute butter. Let's get right up in there. Oh, wow. Yeah, you can see it, that there's animation in the reversers a little. Damn. And then it drooped. Somebody posted in the Discord, why does the ailerons or the spoilers do that? When you come out of idle, they go from like full deflection. You guys notice that? Gustavo, professional Boeing drivers, look at this. Somebody posted this and they were also wondering why. And I'm kind of curious now, is it like it doesn't have enough hydraulic pressure or something? So when we first touch down, the spoilers will actually go to full erect position, but it seems like when you stow the reverse thrust, they go down a little bit. There's no second sector tonight, Mr. Aaron. But I'm gonna do a traffic pattern. We'll do a couple landings. So look at that. We've got full deflection. Reverse is out. Looking juicier than ever. Now watch what happens when I come out of reverse. You see how they sag. I wonder why that is. All right, pause that one more time. Let's watch one from like a tower view. We're gonna back it up. Watch one more here. Resume. Pause that. I gotta go into this drone cam. We're gonna untick drone follow. And we're gonna come all the way over here. Where's the tower at? Right here. Let's watch it from the tower. Well, I can't really zoom. I don't know what the default zoom is. I still gotta. This is one of the worst things about this sim is this freaking drone nonsense. All right. Let's go ahead and resume. Get rid of that. We'll see it come in here any second, hopefully. X-Plane 12 better deliver or they will be in trouble? Absolutely. Did you miss the drink service? Gustavo, I do have the short field performance kit on this aircraft. I do. Is that it? Oh, that's short field performance kit with the reversers. Okay. Where's my airplane? There it is. There she comes. Oh, a little puff of smoke. Awesome. Press spacebar. Oh, thank you. That's cool. We'll pause it. Where do we touch down? Right there. So we're gonna do it like right here. Not halfway down the runway. Get out of here, T Vodka. Get out of here. Maybe a little bit of a float. Here she comes. Okay, no relation between spoilers and reversers. It's just part of the short field performance kit. I don't know. Tony 2 times. I'm absolutely in love with the Yoke. I had a full detailed review and kind of compare and contrast right at top of climb of this video. So if you want to see that, wind it back to when we leveled off at top of climb. Went into a little bit of a review of what I like. A few little dislikes, not even dislikes, but like it's weird because it feels so realistic, but then you don't have trim. Well, you have trim, but you don't trim away control pressure. So that's the only thing that's weird. But that really is only going to be affecting you if you're, if you're used to flying real airplanes. Yeah, I missed the 1,000-foot mark, but not by much. We're still in touchdown zone, easily. Get out of here, Team Vodka. Get out of here with that nonsense. Jeez, how far back are we? Oh my gosh, I was in freaking pause. What a knob. I was in pause. I'm like, how far is that airplane? Here it comes. Beautiful. That was right on the taxiway there. That's the touchdown zone, man. Get out of here with this floating it out, man. You guys are crazy. You guys are crazy. All right, one more. And then let's do one lap around the pattern, huh? We'll do one lap around the pattern, and then we're going to get out of here. Or I am. I'm going to get out of here. So, yeah, we were a little long, but hey, give me a break. Last one. Let's watch it from head on. Ooh. Absolute maple syrup all down that runway. I gotta figure out that thrust reverse binding though, definitely. Alright, so just for fun, let's do this. We're gonna go ahead and stop replay. We're gonna close it. Yeah. Let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and go back to the main menu real quick here. Just keep it on stream. And I'm just gonna reload real quick. Jackson Hole. We're gonna do a traffic pattern. We'll have the engines fired up, ready for takeoff. And we'll do one live Yoke cam traffic pattern. I don't have my track IR on. I don't know if that will work. I don't think it's gonna work if I start it now. That's all right. Did a butter landing in a 172 once, just once. Hey, my first ever butter was in a 172 itself. And my instructor said I will chase that feeling for the rest of my life. And he indeed was correct. All right, we're gonna go right off 19 again. Oh, no. And boom, set. Oh my word. Set as departure. Fly. Let's do it. How do you manage to fly so much on YouTube in real life? Just gotta have a balance, man. Gotta balance. Thrust reverse binding should be under thrust decrease. Works great for me. Zero things to criticize about this landing. All right, let me go hold the menu page here, which will bring up this, which is kind of cool. PMDG cockpit panel state load. PMDG state panel load. Next page. Taxi. Oh, no, runway. Execute. Now it should have us ready to go. It's going to load up here for a second. Flaps are coming out. Give a second for the screens to boot up. I'm going to see if track IR will work. Well, we got to wait for that. I think we have to wait, I don't know, how many seconds for that thing? Alright, so that's on. How long does it take for these screens to boot up here? All in it. There it is. I'm just making these up. Let's go. Here we go. Let's do a traffic pattern. One last thing. Where is flight recorder? Get that back up for a second time. And then I also want to have this. What is precision? Pad 7. All right, let's go. Brakes off. Oh, I gotta set my flat position. 5 and no flight directors. Toga, let's go. We're just gonna fly this. All raw data. We have a lot of gas on board, though. That's interesting. I hope we have enough. I hope we can stop.
V1. Rotate.
I don't think she's ready yet. There's a little bit more trim needed there.
Positive rate of climb.
Alright, so what was field elevation? We'll call it, I don't know, we're just going to climb up to, climb up to 8,000. I'm going to bug speed. Actually, you know what? I don't even want to worry about that. Give myself the bird. Level at 8,000. I'm going to maintain about 180 knots here. So this is where it's weird, where it's like, I want to trim away these control pressures, but we don't have any force feedback. Can Airbus pilots fly raw data? I'm not doing a very good job of it.
Urban 1 leaving my airspace frequency. Change approved.
Caution, terrain.
Roger that. Ooh, we do have terrain. Let's go ahead. So this is not in the system,
Caution,
right?
Terrain.
So let's go ahead and inhibit that. Because we don't have a flight plan in the system. So that's where that terrain inhibit is. It doesn't know where we are. Remember we talked about that at the beginning. I guess that's the speed trim system that Flight Deck to Sim was talking about. That's trimming away there. I feel like 8,000 is a little bit low.
Bank angle.
Urban 1 acknowledging
Bank angle check.
transmission.
Turn track IR back on so I can see where I'm going. Alright, so man, I can barely make out that runway over there. Let's climb up a little bit more. Let's take it up to 9,000. Make it 8,500. So I guess we'll make a modified pattern here. We're going to kind of go around the hills here. About 6,500 feet, said F.O. Trudeau. Alright, so what I'll do now is I'm actually going to turn that back off. We'll go auto brakes max because I think we're overweight for this landing. And speed brake armed. 180 flaps 5. What's in a nit ref say for landing? We'll do a flaps 40 landing. Flaps 40 is much harder to butter. Flaps 40 at 137. I'll bug 137 just as so I can remember it. So I'm going to go around this mountain here and then line up. I don't know what that speed trim system is trimming for. Try 60% N1 coming back.
Urban 1 ATC services terminated. Good day.
60% N1. Check. Alright, so we're gonna around the mountain and down the path. Are you Canadian? No. Definitely not a Canadian, my friend. Oh, 60 seems to work pretty good. Remember we talked about the over-controlling? Just use a couple fingers there. I guess I want to be at 8,000, so we'll set 8,000 again. Final approach fix altitude was at like 8,000, so I think we'll be alright. We're going to cut it around the corner here. Rolling in with a little bit of bank, need a little back pressure, a little bit of trim, just hold that turn. Around that mountain, I should be about 7 to 1,000 feet AGL. Beautiful. We'll do it. Let's yank and bank. Let's come around. Let's descend in a little bit. Let's slow down too. We're gonna set flaps 15. Power back. Oh yeah, I see the runway. Clear the caution. Damn, I went one notch too far with my flaps. We get the recorder up. We are recording. Come on with the gear now. Why am I still getting a warning horn? Damn, that thing is obnoxious. Alright, let's go all the way. Flaps 40, 137, probably 143 then. 143 is bugged for a flaps 40 landing on this approach. Gear horn angle check. Yeah, that worked out pretty good. Maybe a tad low. I couldn't really see the pappies with that sun and the sun reflecting off that snow. A little crosswind from the right. A little bit slow, a little bit more power. .143 seems pretty fast.
Subscriber ahead. Look up.
100. 50. 40. 30.
Check.
20.
Close.
10.
Hold the altitude. Oh, that was a little bit of a smasher. I'm trying to figure out this reverse. Yeah, no, still have to figure that out. We'll stow it. Wow, auto brakes max. Not bad. Not bad. Definitely need some practice. But hey. Let's take a look at that replay. I'm going to come to a stop, and then we'll replay that, and then I think I'm good. I'll set up a stream for tomorrow. Let's see. We'll stop recording and replay. Let's see how we did.
80 knots.
Oh, screenshot, please. Yeah, that was a max auto brake. That was pretty crispy on that one. So I was a little sloppy with my crosswind correction. I started to take it out early, and then I ended up landing a little bit side-loaded. We got her back on center line, but yeah, that was a sloppy crosswind correction. Oh well, hey, it was good practice. I'm one landing better. All right, guys, this has been a lot of fun. I heard the spoiler handle servo keep moving, Jeremy, when I did reverse. Oh, might have a conflicting binding. I'm gonna look into that, Jeremy. Thank you, man. All right, guys. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out with me, hanging out in the stream, checking out the TCA Boeing Yoke. I had a lot of fun. Thank you, Gustavo, for additional Boeing information. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. I hope you guys enjoyed the views, because I sure did. I'm in love with this sim and this airplane right now. There'll be many, many more streams to come. As we wind it back, I'll let you guys enjoy one or two long replays. Until next time, I will see you guys probably tomorrow. I'm thinking tomorrow I'm going to hit it hard. One more stream tomorrow, and then I think I'm going to be off this weekend. So we'll see. Until next time, guys, stay safe, stay healthy. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you here again real soon. Until next time, I'm V1. See ya!